Hey folks, welcome back to the Edupedia world, and I am Abhinay Gupta. The topic for consideration of the day would be professional ethics, right, which is given by the Chartered Accountant Act 1949. This is not a new topic for you. We have already started with, I think we have had a couple of lectures on this topic already, and so far whatever I had been discussing, right, was basically part of your study material. So if you go on the institute website, download the study material from there, open it and see, then any content that I have been talking about, if you want to refer to it, you can refer to it directly on the study material, right? And you will find the same content in the books of various authors, but you are basically preparing for maybe November 2016 attempt or afterwards, right? So let me tell you one important thing, that the study material that is available online is not updated. Yes, go to the institute, get the new latest print study material that you have, right? So when I had a look on the study material that is provided by the institute, which is somewhere around December 15 or January 2016 reprint edition, right, then over there have been contents that have been added. And you know, right, whenever institute adds something more to the study material, it is always highlighted, it is in bold, right? So today's lecture will basically be focusing on the topics that have been added additionally, or the communication or the information that has been provided by your institute in addition to what it had already given in the study material previously, right? And the basic reason why we are doing it is because if the institute feels that it is important for you to know certain more additional facts, right, if they want you to have knowledge about something in addition and they go on to reprint it in your study material, then understand that institute thinks it is important, right? You should have the knowledge, so at any point of time institute can test you on that. And the other reason for testing is that whether or not you are updated with the contents, right? So even if you do not have the new study material, you do not need to be tensed about it, right? Because in today's lecture we will be discussing about all the topics that have been included in the latest practice manual that you have. Not the practice manual, the latest study material actually. So study material is divided into three parts, part 1, 2 and part 3. So in part 3, chapter number 22 is your professional ethics, right? And we will be discussing about the topics that have been added, and then we'll move on to the schedules, to the parts, to the clauses, and we will refer to each clauses in detail, right? So that will be a secondary thing that will start post this lecture. Clear with it? So should we start? Okay. So the first topic that we have is, what is professional ethics? We will have to have a good discussion on this topic, right? That if you are given a question, right, if you are asked about what is professional ethics, forget about the clause, forget about everything, just give me one plain answer, what professional ethics is. And if you remember, we have discussed basically what ethics is, right? We did it, the basic code of ethics and everything, objectivity, your independence, your integrity, IOPCP, you remember, integrity, objectivity, professional competence, due care, confidentiality, IOPC, again P was professional behavior, right? And independence is always a part of it. So we have done the professional ethics in the previous lectures, the ethics in the previous lecture, right? And today we will club that ethics with your professionals, with your professionalism. And remember, ethics for different professions will always vary. Ethics in general is different, and ethics as per your profession would be different. So when you come out, or when you try and understand the ethics which is required for your profession, which may be different from the normal ethics that you follow as a human being, then that becomes your professional ethics, right? I would quote some example too for that. So if you look at your screen, every profession has its own set of ethics, and that may be at variance with the generally accepted ethics. Exactly what I said, right? Now if we take an example, the first example we take of a doctor, right? So what happens is, if you go to a doctor, right, God forbid you do not have to go over there, but right, take a hypothetical example. There are two people, one is seriously ill and the other is accompanying that person to the hospital, right? The first person who is ill, he goes to the doctor checks him up, asks him for some tests, gets the report, and then one fine day doctor calls him to discuss the report, and the report was actually a little bad. The doctor identified that he is not good at health and the issue is a little serious, right? But do you ever see the doctor going on and saying, hey man, you are seriously ill, you have a little time, you have to hurry up, we need to treat you, your kidney, it's almost damaged, you won't be able to survive for long? Does the doctor ever say that? No. Why? Because the doctor knows that if he goes on to deliver those facts that way, the patient might get a stroke additionally. He may also have a heart disease, right? Then it will be difficult for the patient to fight that ailment. Why? Because he will be morally broken. So although it is a fact that yes, his kidney is already damaged, spoiled, and if it is not treated very well, he doesn't have a lot of time in his life. But the doctor does not disclose this fact initially, and what he says is that we can, right, as per your report, we verify or we conclude that yeah, there is some problem with your kidney. It is not at its best. It is not functioning as it should be functioning, as a normal human being's kidney functions, right? It is not very appropriate. So we need to undergo certain treatments. These are certain medicines that will help you improve it, and a little bit of either treatment or operation or anything will keep it at the best. So you will recover very soon, but these are the things that needs to be taken care of. That is how the doctor portrays it, right? Although the chances are less that yeah, his kidney, the same kidney will be functional, maybe they have to replace the kidney, but the doctor does not say on the first go that you have to replace the kidney. Even if the percentage is 2% that yes, his kidney will recover, the doctor will say that yeah, your kidney will recover and we will try these as his treatment, right? And then see how it progresses, and then later on we will take a decision as to how to commence with the other facts. So do you think the doctor is correct in saying that okay, we will give it a try and you will improve, because 98% chances are that he will not, the kidney will not be functional again? So if you look at the general ethics, right, the ethics of the human behavior, then from that angle the doctor is not correct. The doctor is not being ethical because he is lying, because even he knows that there is 98% probability that his kidney won't survive, that his kidney won't be rejuvenated, right? But still the doctor says that yeah, we will give it a try. And later on slowly he comes on and says that it will be better if you replace the kidney, this will not be functional for long, and that things, and then he portrays it that way. So ethically, yeah, in general principle he should have given the complete information, but he does not. And as per the ethics of the doctors, that is correct, because he knows that disclosing that fact will cause more distress to the patient. And as per the professional ethics of a doctor, this doctor at his position, for whatever he has said, he is correct, right? So that is why we say that the ethics of any particular profession may be at variance with the ethics that we as human beings generally accept, right? Now if we take the example of a lawyer, you have seen cases, right? I'm not talking about practical cases. I know most of you, 99% of you did not go to the court ever, right? And it's good that you did not. But the point is, you must have seen a case on the television, in any movie or something, that yeah, there is a judge sitting in the center, there are two lawyers, right? Both the lawyers are defending their clients and trying to prove the other wrong. And then they bring out clues, they bring out evidences, they have their set of statements, their set of commitments, their set of proofs, right? Trying to prove their client to be correct, right? Trying to prove their client to be innocent, whereas the other at fault. Now, at every point of time, you know that yes, one lawyer is lying. Because if there is a murder and the police has, or if there was a theft or burglary and Mr. A says, yeah, Mr. B, he entered my house, he showed me a knife and he took away everything, or he pointed a pistol on my head and he took away everything, and Mr. A denies. Now both of them has a lawyer. Now either Mr. B is wrong or Mr. A is wrong. Any one of them has to be wrong. Maybe Mr. B is trying to put a false blame. You should trap Mr. A. Or maybe Mr. A has actually done it and Mr. B has lost everything. But in any case, either case, any one of them is wrong. But both the lawyers are defending them. So do you say that yes, the lawyer who is defending the wrong person or the lawyer who is defending the guilty is at fault? The lawyer is not being ethical. Because as per the normal ethics of a human being, right, if you are defending something which is wrong, or if you are supporting the wrong, then you are wrong as well. So that is not your ethics, that is not your integrity, right? But for a lawyer, that is his professional ethics, that he has the job of defending his client and he is doing it absolutely perfectly. No matter the client is wrong or the client is right, the job of a lawyer is to defend his client. And he will apply his professional skepticism, professional ethics for preventing the mishap on his client, or to defend his own client. He is least concerned about what the other person is. Maybe the other person is innocent and still this lawyer makes him get the punishment. Why? Because ethically, professional ethically, he is correct. Right? So try and understand that there is a difference between professional ethics and the normal ethics. Right? So that is why there is a proper set of conduct, proper set of ethical conduct that has been demonstrated with each profession. Why? Because that is important to define what is ethical and what is not ethical for this particular profession. It is not left for the choice of a general conception. That yeah, generally this is acceptable, so accepted, it is ethical. If it is not acceptable, it is non-ethical. No, that is not the fact. That is not the reality, right? I have given you two contradicting evidences right now. So you understand basically that yeah, even in your CA, like for your chartered accountant, it is a little difficult thing, different thing. That when you go to a client, it is not your business to defend the client. That yeah, the client has done everything wrong, the client is involved into a big fraud, and you try to defend him. Why? Because you are a chartered accountant, you are good at finances. Please amend his balance sheet, window dress everything, and let it be. And try to save your client from the income tax department. Is that your job? No. If you're doing it, you're ethically wrong. Because your task is to bring out the correct information about the company for the users of the financial statement. Right? So the people who are using the financial statement, who are using your auditor's report, should be at the perfect position to analyze the company. And the information that is required by him to make a good assessment of the company, that information has to be provided by you as an auditor. So whatever is wrong, you have to report. Whatever is right, you have to report. Everything about a company in the fixed format of the financials has to be reported. Right? So that is your ethics. That for this, you have to always stand by what is correct and not go on to defend your clients like the lawyers do. Right? And you do not go out to tell, like if the bankers or anything, that no, the client is going well, you can go ahead with it, like the doctor does. You know that there is 98% chance that the client's going concern is affected. The client may not survive with the next year, right? Still, when they go to the bank for loans, you tell the bank that okay, everything is fine, you can give them the loan, they'll repay it on due time. when you know that the probability of repayment is only 2%. For the doctor, the case may be ethically correct, but for you as a chartered accountant, that is wrong. Because you are supposed to bring the true picture of the company in front of that banker. Why? Because that banker is using the financial statement, the banker is using your auditor's report. So you have to bring out the true and fair statement that will be useful for the banker. Now do you understand? So now do you get the feeling as to why is it important to know the clauses, to know the parts and know the schedule? This is something that was not clear to me as a student. I never knew why are they going on to specify things. We know what is professionally, what is ethically correct, what is ethically wrong. You all know when you are going for an audit and if the client asks you to make some amendments, to make some changes, you know it is not ethically correct. If the client tells you, I need to inflate the sales by 10%, I need to deflate the cost by 20% and I need to increase my profit, please do that in the balance sheet. Please help me to amend this. Will you do it? No. Because that is not the true picture. Right? So that is why what all specific things or whatever are the areas where there is a threat to the ethical value of a chartered accountant, where there is a threat to the ethics of the chartered accountant due to which either the user of the financial statement or the client or any third person may suffer. And to avoid that, you have schedules, you have parts, you have clauses, so that whatever are the identified problems, right, identified unethical issues that have come up, they can be dealt. Right? So that is also provided in your Chartered Accountants Act 1949. Are you clear with it now? That why do we have schedules, why do we have clauses, and why is it important for us to remember each point of the clause? Why? Because that will help us to understand whether what we are doing is ethically correct or not. You will always have to evaluate whether or not you are ethically correct as per the professional ethics provided by the Chartered Accountant Act 1949. Agreed? You have to. Now let me ask you a simple question. A question, the answer to which should be known to each and every chartered accountant and the students in chartered accountancy. What is the motto of the institute? I know this question may not be asked in your examination, but being a chartered accountant or being into the work in progress part of this profession, you should be knowing the motto of the institute. And I bet 90% of you do not know what is the motto of the Chartered Accountancy Institute. The ICAI's motto. 90% of you do not know. So the motto of our institute is Ya Esh Sapteshu Jagriti. The chartered accountants who have already been chartered accountants, they may be knowing it. Why? Because when they go for their membership, they see it, they read it, they are told about it. But as a student, when you go to the coaching classes, then nobody talks about this motto. When you go to your office, nobody talks about this motto. So maybe you never came across this motto, Ya Esh Sapteshu Jagriti. This has been taken from the Kathopanishad, right? And it denotes eternal vigilance. And eternal vigilance, it means awakening when the world is asleep. So it's a very strong motto, right? And in our field, right, in the Big Four, like this is something we took it in some other way. Awakening when the world is asleep means keep working even at midnight. That is how we related it to our work. Yeah, we are sitting there, we are doing it midnight, and we say, other person says, yeah, it's too late. Come on man, sit down, it's our motto. Awakening when the world is asleep. So when everybody is resting, they are asleep, you are still working, right? It's just part of a joke, right? Don't take it very seriously, but the fact is, yeah, that happens. Not always, but it does. Okay? So our motto, Ya Esh Sapteshu Jagriti. Okay? Nothing specific about this. It may not be asked over there, but this is something you should be knowing. Come on. You should be knowing the motto of your institute. You should be knowing the motto of your profession, right? So by what we have studied above, we have discussed above, we know that there are different moral codes to different sections of the society or different professionals, right? So for lawyer you have a different set of moral codes, for the doctor you have different set of moral codes, and for the chartered accountant you may have a different set of moral codes, and the same is true for every other professions as well. And what is the final purpose that professional ethics or following the professional ethics actually provides? The purpose is to build trust in the vast variety of users. You have stakeholders, you have creditors, you have bankers, you have shareholders, you have investors, you have a hell lot of people, right? Your customers, your buyers, everybody who needs to know what is going on and who needs to trust you. And how do they trust you? When they know that you're not going wrong. And how do they know that you're not going wrong? Because you are having some particular standards in your professional ethics that you are supposed to follow. Otherwise that would lead to harsh punishment like taking away your COPs as well. So they know that if you are working, that means first of all a COP has not been taken away, and secondly you risk your COP and hence you will be working, right? So the purpose is to build trust in the vast variety of users so that service users are able to feel secure. And the code of ethics is necessary because it builds the foundation, right? It is a set of acceptable behavior, the behavior which is accepted out of you as a particular professional. May you be a chartered accountant, may you be a lawyer, may you be anything, right? So code of ethics is very, very important. That will determine the credibility you have. Getting the point? And moreover, many of us actually feel at times or have a perception against this code, right? The code of ethics, that it is a burden on us. But if you actually look at it, right, it has been devised to protect our own professional interest as the chartered accountant. We know that it's burdensome, we have a lot of formalities to be done, a lot of things to be taken care of, a lot of restrictions, but it is for none other than our own professional good, right? So this is actually a device that protects us professionally, that helps us to command our respectability, our independence, our credibility, right? And also helps us to bring a uniformity and a standard in our profession, right? So that is something that we have to understand and follow. Just breaking it is very easy. Escaping the fault and the punishments are very easy. But the point is, if you want that credibility for your profession, if you want people to talk good about your profession, you have to follow these professional ethics. It has been devised very minutely for our own good, right? So that is all about the basics and the initial explanation of this chapter. I hope I'm able to give you a good ground for your understanding of the later topics in the chapter, right? So in the next lectures, we'll start with the other portions of the chapter, and this class will actually help you to grab them better, right? So until then, this is Abhinay Gupta signing off. Thank you and bye-bye.